Hey guys, this is John Maxey with RealEstateGPTs.com, and what I'm going to show you today is the exact workflow I use when I get a new lead coming in from Lead Mining Pros. So what we're looking at here is my own ChatGPT account, and you can see in the sidebar here is my team of GPT assistants that you get access to, and you'll get links delivered. When you click on those links, they're going to show up here in the sidebar, so that you can run them as you need. So for me, Nick always says this first thing, lead comes in, call the lead. That's pretty much step number one. For me, step number two is I'm using my team of AI assistants. So I'm going to just walk through an example here of a lead that I did have come in from Lead Mining Pros. So obviously I talked to the homeowner first, see what's going on, try to set up a time to talk. And then I'm starting off first with my ARV GPT. So you gotta do a click on it, your chat window opens up here, and you're now using, I have one specific for Wisconsin. If you're not in Wisconsin or not in Ohio, then there is a national version of this one that you can use. And when I want to generate my comps, you can hit the start button, and this will take you right through the workflow of collecting the information from you. For me and my specific workflow, I actually have a template that I reuse every time, and I give you this template when you sign up for the program. And it's very easy. Right at the top here, right, I just have some simple information about the property. And I like to actually copy and paste it in here. You could put a Zillow link and it'll just scrape the information straight from Zillow. I like to confirm everything so that I trust my AI output. So I'm just going to go ahead real quick here and type it in the information from this one. This is a 927 square foot, 3-bed, 1-bath house. And it's actually on a crawl space. And the lot size is 6,534 square feet. Built in 1900. And C3 condition. So, if you want to skip this, you can when you're doing this workflow. I put it in there, but C1 is really like it's a new build. C2 is brand new, full renovation. C3 is nice. C4, C5, you're talking about, basically houses that need some major work, and C6 is the worst of the worst. And we want to turn this into a C2 because this is an after repair value report. This one just needed light work. Some new light fixtures, receptacles, minor landscaping. And again, you don't have to put this in here if you don't want to, but this is part of my specific workflow. Cabinet hardware, and like some touch-up paint. I mean, there was not a lot to do with this place. Nothing unique here, but I will specify it's a 2.5 car detached garage. And first thing I like to just get the text summary. And then the rest of this prompt is basically just setting up the output format of the report the way I like it. So you could change this to make it specific for how you like it, or again, you could use a start button to go through this. And then we just pass this task off to the GPT here. So what you'll see is it's going to read through its documents. That's its own internal training material that is what actually makes this GPT what it is. So it's trained as a real estate analyst, so that it can understand markets, know how to find comps, know what makes a good comparable property, and be able to actually put together a report and do the appropriate math. And so it's going to think through what it needs to do, and it's going to look around for sold properties and come back with those comparables and tell me what it found, put together a report for me. And really, during this time, this is when I would go off and do something else while my GPT assistant is doing this work for me. But typically, the actual process of finding the comps, generating the report, takes anywhere from 1 to 6 minutes. I'd say it's pretty typical. Okay, so now we have our report output, and we have 5 comparison properties here. And what I do when I'm doing this is, the first thing is I go straight to the links to the comparable properties. So all I do is click, 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 click. It's like we're still working here, still thinking, putting this whole report together. But I always, in my workflow, I always stop here in the report and look at the comparable properties that have been selected first, so that I can do, and you know what, this one looks almost exactly like mine. So that's a great one. This one here, it's much newer. It's got the attached garage. This one also has the attached garage, and it's newer, but it looks so similar. This one I would say is actually not a great comp for mine. Jump over to this one. This one's getting closer in age. But it does have the detached garage. And this one's, I would say, kind of too new, and the style I don't think is necessarily close enough to the one I have. But this first one here, this is really good. And so in this case, I would actually, as my judgment in charge, looking at those comps that it's selected, I would actually come back here, and I would say that 287 ones. So I would say comp A is good. The other comps are remove the other comps and find comparable properties that are 1925 or older. And so that's kind of the power of the system here is, that time that it's been thinking, that's time that I didn't have to be scouring the web. So what I got was a clean report, links out to the properties, and it took me all 30 seconds to use my judgment and say, these properties are similar enough or not similar enough. And when they're not, and I disagree with the comps, I'm in control. And just like I would with an employee or a VA that I might be paying a lot more money for, I'm going to say, do this again because I don't agree with your work. And that's part of the power of the system is it is transparent, and you are in control, and you don't have to just trust the number because AI said this is the number. This system is built for you to control, and still amplify the time that you spend on doing deals so that you can get to those seller conversations and you can get to negotiations and get offers out there that you are confident in because you've seen and understand the numbers. So while that's working, I'll just show you what comes in the rest of the report. So it tells you the comps, why it picked them, some that it did not pick, and then you get um, what kind of adjustments are being made, right? So you don't have to do this math in your head or have build your Excel spreadsheet that you're constantly updating. You get the comp table, you get the information about each one, in a nice little table here, and it's sale dollar per square foot, and then it goes through and makes the adjustments to each one so that you end up with, just like an appraiser would coming through, you get an adjusted dollar per square foot price. And that's how it then comes in and gives you your final ARV. And like I said, I didn't trust the comps, so I'm not putting a lot of stock into this number, and that's why I went back and told it to look for different comps. And so here's the range if you had this thing full turnkey, ready to go. This report also gives a quick investor screen so that you can, um, it assumed $6,000 in repairs because I gave it some minor stuff and used that to come up with some really quick offer prices just using that, the 65, 70, 75% rules. But again, that particular report, that particular number is in my judgment not based on appropriate comparable properties. And so again, the active time I've had in this so far is 30 seconds filling out the template and about 30 seconds applying my judgment to the comparable properties that were sold. So during the rest of this time, I don't have to be on this tab watching this thing think. I'm just validating output. And then I can be on the phone with other sellers. I can be doing a follow up. I can be starting an ARV report for a different property, and I get more of my time back. Okay, so it did what I asked. You see everything now is built before 1920, and it's now going to use that to update its report. And you see it's still working here because that button is not letting me put in new input. And here's the Zillow links to what it selected, the same street to what it selected this time around. Making the adjustments. Comes up with an adjusted price. And it's got, unweighted at 157 and recommended at 167. And so I think that is a lot closer to what this thing would really sell for. Again, I kind of have some history of this property, so I have a better idea of what comes in here. But it was really easy to not have that information and just be able to look at the comparable properties. And so that's the workflow on the ARV GPT that works for me and that you can do whenever a new lead comes in.